So we're speaking to Martyn today, one of the co-founders of AJ Connect. So what is your business, Martyn?
We own a recruitment business.
And when about did you start the business?
October 2020 we started up, which was quite a nerve-wracking time, to be honest, right in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, so speaking of the pandemic, how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect your plans to start the business?
To be honest, it actually accelerated our plans to start the business. It was something my business partner Stephen and I had in the pipeline for quite a while. We found ourselves on furlough at the time from our current employer, and it really gave us the time to pull together a business plan. And then we launched the business in October of 2020.
Did COVID present any problems at all to your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a challenging time. At the time, the job market was not performing very well. There was limited jobs in the market. There was a lot of unemployment, redundancies getting made from bigger corporations. But it was really a good time to start speaking to candidates and ones that were needing help and try and find out a little bit more about them and build up those relationships at the time.
So did you have any specific plans to sort of provide a solution to any of those problems that COVID threw up for you?
In terms of?
Just in terms of, you mentioned that there was lack of candidates, was it, you said? Was there any sort of plans to provide solutions to those problems?
Yeah, absolutely. At the time, Andy, we started speaking to employers, finding out who was getting made redundant, why they were getting made redundant, then getting names of the candidates, speaking to them, and really just building up that pipeline of candidates so that when we knew the job market would come back, we would then have that pipeline of ready to go talent that we could then take out to employers that were starting to hire in the market.
So future-proofing your business, really. So how did you hear about the apprentice employer grant?
It was through a company called Direct Partners.
And what was your prior understanding of the term apprenticeship?
For me, my prior understanding, was maybe typically speaking about apprenticeships, it might have been on the tools, out on sites, joiners, bricklayers, that type of thing. I did know there was a wee bit of a modern apprentice type thing, but I really didn't have much idea about the whole programme, to be honest.
How has your understanding of the term changed since then? And if it has changed, why would that be?
It's certainly changed a lot for the better. Direct Partners were very informative. They gave us all of the information that we needed to understand what the programme was, and we hired two great graduates through the programme.
And how did you hear about Direct Partners that you mentioned?
It was through a friend of a friend, bit of a recommendation that we'd sort of knew in the market.
And you mentioned that you took on two graduates at the time, so how did you feel, if you can cast your mind back, how did you feel at the time about taking on two inexperienced employees?
A little bit nervous. It was quite a delicate time, just being a start-up business ourselves, taking on two employees that didn't really know their markets or the job at all. They were quite green, just straight out of university, but we did see a great potential in the two of them. Good head on their shoulders, good amount of commercial awareness, which was all the things that we were looking for. So we took a gamble, brought them in, trained them up, and yeah, it's been really good.
And so what specific concerns could you highlight as an employer that did you have about taking on these inexperienced employees?
I think it was going to be the time that I would need to spend with them to get them to where we needed them to actually be productive in their role. At the time before, when they were just starting out, they didn't have any work experience really. Maybe a little bit of sort of summer work and things like that, but the actual getting them bedded in, getting them into the role and understanding the systems, the processes, and how to actually do the job was my main concern. But that's all aside now. These guys, they've really hit the ground running well, and picked up everything that they've been asked to do.
So you've just mentioned that they're now sort of getting to know the role a little bit better, but if you can cast your mind back again to the time when they first started, how much time approximately did you have to dedicate to training and mentoring these employees?
I think if I cast my mind back, it was probably a couple hours a day, which was good. I mean, we enjoyed it. It was good getting to train the guys, and there was obviously a lot of support from Direct Partners in terms of their qualification that we're doing, which really gave them a good amount of probably knowledge, I guess, about their actual the core subject that they were actually going to be speaking to the market about. So yeah, all good.
And with the benefit of hindsight, would you say you've had a return on your investment of the time, money and effort you put into these employees?
Absolutely. Year two, the guys have been with the business now, so a year past February, so 15 months, and we've really seen that return on investment now. The guys are self-sufficient, know what they're doing, they can be trusted. We've got them now working flexible, hybrid model, a couple of days from home, and they're delivering on their key targets for the business, to be honest.
And so would you say the apprentice employer grant has benefited the business?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so will you now include apprentices in your employment strategy?
100%. I think going forward, Andy, we will have that as a strategy. Really, I think for our business, I think our strategy is going to be able to, grow our own as opposed to hiring maybe more experienced people. I think we're going to grow our own from the ground up.
Okay, that's good to hear. Finally, what piece of advice would you give to an employer that's looking to take on a new apprentice?
Just do it. You won't regret it.
Perfect. Well, that's us done. Thank you very much for your time, Martyn.
No worries.
Cheers.